Hello everybody, here's Dogan, Simon, and today we're gonna, react to Neon Genesis Evangelion. Wow, episode 4, Rain After Running Away. And with this title alone, I know that I'm gonna be for a great time and great analysis of this today episode. I hope it's gonna be great for you all, and it's gonna be very dandy and all with this reaction. Maybe, maybe not, who knows, we're gonna see. But yes, Evangelion, again. Last time, well, we had Shinji and his mental breakdowns and other shit, while protecting his classmates, who kinda hate him, maybe new characters, who knows. So I am very, very eager to see what's gonna be next here on Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and what we're gonna see after, that episode that ended pretty nicely and interesting. I'm very honored to watch the next episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Okay, neat episode. Great episode. Interesting episode. Very interesting episode. About choice of Shinji and what he wants to do in this life. And he finally decides that he is home. That will never bite him in the ass. No, that's not the type of the show Evangelion is, right? Wink wink. Yeah, there's gonna be consequences of that choice, like every other choice. So okay, but like I was saying, Denji is running away because he's afraid of responsibility, and well, he doesn't want to live like this life. And there's nothing to blame him. I mean, he almost killed two of his friends from classmates. He almost get killed again. He is forced to do something just because he wanted to be loved by his father. And there's still no affection from his father. His father is using him completely. He's a 15-year-old boy, I assume, because the second impact, maybe 15, 16-year-old boy. There's no... I think Shinji was born after the impact, so 15, 16-year-old boy who, well, he can't control his emotions yet. Still is interested about love, like you can see during the scene when the guy and the girl are kissing. He's very, like, envious of that, I would say. Very much of that wanting that affection and connection with someone else. And I think, like I was saying, you can shake hands with Denji because this is the other series, Chainsaw Man, that I'm watching, that is very much similar to Evangelion in terms of teenage boy angst and his problems and their problems. And they're very much like, hey guys, we want just affection. We never had that in our life, and Shinji never had that, and Denji never had that. So they were robbed of that. There's different backstories, of course, etc., etc., but they don't have the affection. Shinji has his father in his life, and his father doesn't really give a fuck about him. There's the other person that's starting to care about him, and it's Katsuragi, but not really everybody else. Everybody else is using him as a machine and a killer, essentially. So yeah, that's interesting. But overall, I understand why he wants to run away. He wants to run away because he's afraid of everything that he can become and everything that no one cares about him. And he wants to find his place in life, to be loved and just be needed by someone, which is a characteristic of every human being, more or less, of being loved, of just wanting to belong somewhere. No, maybe not loved, but belong to someone, having his own place in life. Either is a sexually love someone or just be loved, like, as a friend or whatever, just be needed by someone in their life, just be someone that is like, can depend on someone, having help from someone, stuff like this. Like, there are people who are just like, want to have peace, etc. I get it. I 100% get it, and why Shinji behaves like that. Let's see what the show will do with these informations. So I don't know if Katsuragi and Shinji can be together. I mean, this is anime, and it happens in in real life. A lot of people, if you're gonna go on like Twitter or whatever, they're gonna say that you are a criminal after like I don't know, 18-year-old dates like 16-year-old or whatever. They would be surprised if they would go to school and be like, "Hey, what's up? Oh, this is my country." And there's a lot of people who are like not give a fuck about it. Even the parents of these children are like, "Yeah, neat." And it depends on of course, on the country and what is the age of the consent and like which is of course made so the teenagers can do with teenagers, not like 30. I'm not saying that 30-year-old man should be with like a fucking 16-year-old or like whatever, like I don't know, 27 with 16-year-old. It's iffy. In my country it's legal, but it would be iffy. In Japan it's even lower. I think it's like 14, 13. During the time of this making, I think it was 14, 13. Maybe less now, maybe more now, I don't know. It's very nice in the rural areas of Japan, and I had just this conversation because I was growing up in the same, but like, I think if you grew up in the city, you kinda yearn, you kinda just want the fucking like grass field, etc. But if you grew up in the grass fields, etc., grew up in the areas like this, you have kinda enough at some point and you want the city life. I can see that for multiple times. And there are of course the people who will never move away from the city, they will die there, and there are people who will never move from the village areas and like more rural areas in the country, and they will not live somewhere there. It's great because I think in Japan at least there are bus connections. Maybe, I think in a lot of places in my country there's no. And this depends on the countries, but there are places that are just like ghost towns. I mean, there are gonna be ghost towns at some point. There's no fucking way they won't be, because there's no one living there outside of like old folks, etc. And of course, everything gonna change when a supermarket gonna be built and the field's gonna be cut out and everything is gonna be great, because money is gonna be made. But overall, I like this feeling of this episode of Shinji yearning to be outside of the city, outside of the noise, outside of the his, how you call it, his purpose, his goal in life right now, outside of all these problems that he has, that he doesn't want to. And he is alone in this area when he won't fight probably any humans. And he's sitting outside of the fence right now. So if he would fall, he probably would die right now. But I don't know if he cares. I think Shinji is very severely depressed right now. And it shows. And I think this show is very good at showing what depression feels like. If you ever had depression, you probably know how it feels. How mental illness feel in the sense, and also loneliness. And how it can shape you as a human being and shape your worldview as a human being. And a lot of people don't know that, and they, the same people who are saying go to therapy gonna be first to judge that people misbehave, and they gonna be like, no, you can't say that it's because of your mental illness. Why not? It is because of mental illness. I mean, if this person would feel right about himself, he wouldn't probably act like that, and if he would be an asshole. It's not just, so simple. It's like people, he's acting so bad because of the drug. It's like not because of drugs. The drugs doesn't justify that. They do. We're not talking about weed or maybe, I don't know, LSD, which also can fucking fry your brain. We're talking about like, coke and other stuff that is like making you very aggressive, maybe, especially withdrawals. It's that they are the worst after taking the drugs. Not really the drugs, maybe the withdrawals are the worst. And it's just that it does justify. It's like alcoholic. If a person is drunk, people say, he probably would act the same if he was drunk. Well, I don't think so he would, because, well, he has the social norms and everything just stopping him. Alcohol just releases that. So you say, he would act like that. Yeah, sure, but he won't. Day to day, he won't act like this because has still social cues. He still thinks sober. he still knows what's going on, he won't do it. But because drunkenness bring, all the social norm, and like drug use, etc., all the substances can bring your social norm to zero, and then you can behave like an animal. And a lot of people are like, oh, why he behaves like that? He's an asshole probably from the get-go. Maybe. But also it's because people are animals also, always, and they always are violent and will be violent no matter what's gonna happen. Is that a lot of people try to deny that we are violent beneath everything, and it's just that some of us try to repress that, some of us try not to, and some of us just accept that there is violence inside of us, and because of acceptance we don't act upon it. It depends on a human being, and why I'm saying here right now, I'm rambling about all this weird stuff and giving like exposition about stuff, it doesn't really matter, maybe. But I am saying that Shinji his behavior is understandable. And I already see that there are probably reaction YouTubers who are bitching, sitting there, you stupid fuck, etc. I mean, there are reaction to YouTubers who just gonna watch the episode, gonna be like, wow, cool, thank you, goodbye. Which I understand, depending on the series, you can do that. I do that a lot of times, maybe with Samurai Jack, even twice, not because of my laziness, but because of the show gets better and better, so I start to think, hey, this show is worth the, like, exposition and talking about it, because I have some conversation right now here. And I think you can have conversation about every show, to some degree, but some people just don't do it at all. And maybe I'm gonna post this at the end of discussion, so I don't gonna waste the time here. But it's nice the show shows by environment the being alone, with being no one other. You are alone here, peace in these mountains. Yet these mountains, forest areas, etc. But Shinji doesn't have peace, and he's alone, and he feels alone, and he wants to belong. And I think the show captures that emotion of a human condition, and especially young boy condition, that a lot of shows and societies doesn't really want to talk about much in Western media. I see that more in Japanese media. There are, of course, attempts in Western media, etc. But I think it should be there should be a talk about condition of a young man and woman, and the expositions and the expectations of life, and what society expects from you as a person, so what family expects you, what people who are surround you expect from you, and what truly the pressure of the country you live in expects from you to achieve. Which I think Japan is a perfect place for that, because there's a lot of expectancy in that country. And let's not lie to yourself, there is a lot. Especially if you are Japanese, there's 100% expectance, there's a lot. There's overwork there, there's to be the greatest. And that's why a lot of people quit and they become mangakas, because they are still somehow respected in some ways, but a lot of people don't respect them because they are not businessmen, etc., etc. You can hear so many stories about the mangakas who are just like, I don't want to waste my life being overworked and doing like this. They're overworking themselves drawing, but at least they are doing what they want. You can hear that in a lot of the mangakas, that they choose to become mangakas and storytellers because they say themselves that they would waste their life, and they dread it completely. It was dreadful experience to become someone else than a mangaka. I think even Araki Hirohiko, which is not, I don't think so is his real name, but okay. I think there was some reports that it's not his real name. But the creator of JoJo Bizarre Adventure was speaking even, I think, about it, like interviews. He's very open mangaka in interviews. Very surprising, because most of them are very like silent and not into your face. And Mr. Araki Hirohiko, he does a lot. He does a lot of meetings, interviews, photo shoots, fucking galas. He goes to like fucking Louvre and other shit. He travels a lot. He's a very social person that is not very social, I would say. That appears not to be social, but he's very social. And weird, of course, but I think that's a kind of quirky way, and like kind of keeping the mystique of a mangaka, etc. And I think he pulls a leg a lot of times about a lot of things. But just like him, he is very. I think he was saying in one of the interviews that he was like working as a office clerk or whatever, so he wanted to become mangaka. And I think there was a lot of other people who are just like, I want to focus on drawing. I think it was Kentaro Miura who was also immediately I'm gonna focus on drawing. I'm gonna be a mangaka. Which is like a one way to be kinda more doing what you want and not being overworked in the way of like just fueling the corporate stuff, etc. You still are fully filling the corporate stuff of magazines, etc. and you need steadily to be also overworked sometimes, but there's I think a little more leeway with the breaks, etc. and some mangakas are on breaks that are indefinite, that are still not over, and maybe they never will be. I don't know. Yeah, so like I'm saying, the show is doing a great moment of showing Shinji and his departure from society and the pressure of society on young boys, young people, women also, but showing the expectance of society. I think especially Japanese society on young people, and the being alone and not having any support in that, and also how families behave in this world, and there's people that we all deserve to be loved and having great family, yet we didn't receive that. We didn't ask to be in this world. Your children never ask to be in this world, so should they be grateful for anything? Maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying that they should be spoiled, but you need to remember, I think, that it was your choice, so make their life good, not hell on this planet. Think about that you wanted to be here, and think what you wanted as a young child. Don't forget. Yeah, there's the saying in Minecraft, and it's like rough translation of that is like the cow forgets when it was a calf, you know. So remember that you were young and what you wanted as a young person. Probably freedom. Give the freedom of your children, but also not too much. You know, it's a hard job to be a parent, for sure. But also, at least try. Shinji fathers don't try at all. He doesn't give a fuck. He's complete business only. We have no truly insight in him. We are 4 episodes in this series, but yet we still have no insight of who Shinji father is. Well, we're gonna see later on. Okay, this was rambling during the episode, but I think I decided to cut that after the episode, so let's go again to the discussion again after the episode. But I think I cut this in during the discussion of the show, because I don't know if I want to take time of the reactions. Let's see. And it's not because I think he's weak, it's that when you're so depressed and like sad and at this level in life that you are just like not caring about anything, that's the worst part, when you don't care about anything. So he's like, I don't care, walk all over me, because I don't care. Or maybe he has also PTSD and like a brain fart. I think he has kind of a lot of trauma, and a lot of people don't understand how trauma works, I guess, which you can see clearly in the fandoms of Avatar, The Last Airbenders, and Korra. When people criticize Korra, I recently rewatched it again and again. I watched it multiple times during the year, so, and I came with new conclusions after watching each episode of Korra. And actually, with age, I would say that I like Korra much more than Avatar, Last Airbender. I do. I think that there is much more adult themes and what I crave from a show in Korra than there ever was in Avatar. I mean, in Avatar there was, and there was cravings about Aang and his disappearance and the fault of leaving people on your destiny, blah blah. And Zuko, of course, who was the most human character in this whole show, I would say. My favorite, of course. Why not? Of course, Zuko is my favorite. Who would guess? But I also would say that Avatar: Last Airbender is more fun show to watch. It has a lot of like dark moments and stuff, but it's like more. There has some philosophy moments, but it's more laid back a little bit. Even to last season is more dark, and the last episodes of season 2. But also people, I think a lot of times forget that Aang gets his ass kicked a lot by Zuko and other stuff, and he needed help of his friends or he would be killed multiple times. I think it's just selective choosing of whatever happens. And truly I really like Korra because she's not very powerful character. She's very powerful character, but she's not very powerful because her mind limits her, and her feelings limit her, and her trauma limits her. And you can clearly see that in season 4 how people not understand how trauma works because they are all like, oh, why she's not kicking her ass? Spoiler, I won't say who, but why not? Why not? Maybe because she, spoilers, were tortured before, poisoned, and almost killed, bound to a wheelchair, and for 3 years travels around the world without a purpose in in her life, and struggles with these PTSD moments and trauma, and like this ghost appearance of herself that traumatize her and attack her daily. Maybe that's why. But that's just my guess. But like I'm saying, it's like the writing, I think it's much better. As with age, I think I yield and yearn more Korra writing than Avatar Last Airbender, which is surprising because as a young person I was like, nah, Korra, I like it, but it's not very much the same. It's like, weird. But I think that's the wrong assumption. Is like it very came close after the Last Airbender, so it couldn't grow up with the audience much. If it would came out like 5 years later or maybe more, then maybe it could, because it grow up with the audience. Like let's say Ben 10 and Alien Force. A lot of people like Alien Force, me included. I rewatched it recently. It's not very that much cohesive storytelling as I remember, but I still like the premise of the show. And I think it works because the people who were young while we were watching Ben 10 now are adults, or the older teenagers, and they are yearning for more different themes in a cartoon than just hero, time, etc. And I think Korra has a little more themes like that in her show, and I think that's why maybe it's gonna stick a little more with the adults who want something like that from the show. And they will stick more with you because you may understand that more than as a child and be more open about writing like that. So I'm very more interested right now here during the Evangelion, because it reminds me of the conversation with how some people, like I'm saying, just like I'm saying about Korra, so spoilers, sorry if I spoil something, I don't know, I don't care. Neon Genesis Evangelion, 100% for someone is boring show. I know it's for someone is, because he just wants action, and he doesn't want his hero to be a wuss and not be be just strong and macho and like fight, blah blah blah. It's the same people who like read Berserk and they expect bloodfest, etc. But truly, what you get from Berserk is not the fighting that is the most important. I mean, I wouldn't give a fuck about Berserk truly that much if it would be just about fighting and killing monsters and revenge. If Berserk wouldn't be a love story, I wouldn't care. If Berserk wouldn't be a betrayal story, I wouldn't care. If Berserk would be a character story that truly elevates the story much more higher, and truly the story, I don't really care what he's gonna do. I care about the travel of this character and the progression of characteristics, because Berserk has one of the most masterful writing about the characters ever in any fucking media ever. The story on its own, I think the characters elevate the story much more than the story itself elevates the characters. But I would say that a lot of times, I bet there are some people who are like, oh, Shinji is such a wuss, he's such a fucking asshole, why he can't fucking get into mecha and kill people or demons, these fucking aliens, whatever, why can't he fight? I bet there are some people like that who think like that about this show, and everything that is like not at the face value, they will not catch up onto, and they will say that it's a trash. So yeah, I'm just saying that there is probably some people who are like, oh, this is such a boring show, why is Shinji so undecided, why Shinji can't fucking just do this, blah, 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 blah. Why he can't? Because he's very human character, and he's Actions are very human and understandable. His father doesn't give a fuck about him. Everyone pressure him about doing something that he doesn't want to. No one really cares about him outside of Katsuragi, who starts to develop a feeling for him when she weren't really meant to, but she is kind of disappointed in Shinji and his behavior, but she also starts to understand why he behaves like that, and I think she is the only one character in the show right now who humanizes Shinji and is concerned outside of his two fucking classmates, I guess. No, it's not about gods, it's just that he wants to have peace in his life, and he won't have a peace if he will stay here, and people don't give a fuck about him, so there's no peace in this world for him. The end. Very nice conversation, etc., but that's very much like selfish behavior a little on Katsuragi part also here towards Shinji. They are all fucking selfish. And you can say, oh, Shinji is selfish because he doesn't want to be a fucking murderous. He doesn't want to sit in a murderous fucking machine protecting fucking people for all his eternity. Or maybe not eternity. He's now 14 and they say that they need a teenagers to pilot this fucking shit. So what's gonna happen if Shinji's gonna grow up? Or what? They gonna fucking stop him like from growing up somehow and just keep him as teenager forever so he can be like suitable fucking army man? No one fucking, like, he wasn't born to this. He was born to be a free man, and he wasn't made to be this. They are forcing him to be this. He didn't ask for that. He didn't sign like, oh yeah, I gonna be. He wanted to just see his fucking father, and his father said, nah, you know what, you're gonna pilot this machine and you're gonna like go and fight these fucking demons and protect everyone because I don't give a fuck about you. You're expendable, but at least you can do this. I wouldn't be surprised if they would like try to clone Shinji or some shit like this, so he could be expendable and they could forever have the fucking Evangelion pilots. The show is very dark about it, but like I think it's criticizing the giving up and being a little cowardish on Shinji part, but also everyone else is selfish. They want him, and even if Katsuragi is the most like fed up with that they just leave, etc. I think it's because she's a little selfish also, because she has some feelings for Shinji and she doesn't want him to leave really. I think she's starting to get used to him, and I think it's also because I don't know, it's just she doesn't know how to convey her emotions towards him and talk with him. She's not very much older than him, so I wouldn't say that she's very mature emotionally. And that she knows 100% completely how to have a conversation and teachings with a teenager and how to understand him. They don't really try to understand him as a teenager and as a human being. They use him as a tool and like, oh man, you're just going into this fucking mecha, risking your life every day and risking life of others. If you want, like, protect us, everyone will die, but no pressure, Shinji, no pressure. No pressure, you can die every day, but no pressure, Shinji, no pressure, not at all. So I think that Katsuragi goes with good place at her heart, but doesn't know how to convey that in the words, and it sounds like she's very much has, like, problem with Shinji, that he doesn't accept being a fucking soldier for them, which is boohoo. Military expansion doesn't have another person to fight for them. Very sad. A young person doesn't want to throw his whole life away to fight meaningless stuff. Here he fights. I think it's a little bit maybe criticism of military also in the show, maybe, I don't know, but I think there is some also, well, here you fight with the angels or whatever bullshit, from the fucking space fuckers. But they, just because they have like two right now fucking teenagers to fight for them, they only have Rei and they have only fucking Shinji. What if they're gonna die? What are you gonna do? Hire another body? I don't believe that they have no like countermeasures at all for fighting that fuckers. I don't believe that there is not an ounce when they like, hey, maybe we're gonna like do another Evangelions that are just like can be piloted by adults, which would make more sense because we have more military experience and we have more experience in life and are more stable well, you should be at least maybe stable emotionally. Nah, fuck that. Hire the teenagers. If they're gonna die, we can make another one. Who cares? He's not brainwashed enough to be for that, which is surprising that they didn't like try to like brainwash him to be more obedient or whatever. Maybe they're still not so evil. I wouldn't pass anything. I wouldn't put past anything from his father doing etc. Stuff like this. But we can't force you to stay. Yeah, Shinji, we don't really, it's your choice, and essentially it is. They let him go, which I like that at least they let him go. They don't force him to stay, but the amount of people who are around him and they are saying towards him like, Shinji, it's good, it's okay after you leave, but I'm gonna be sad. It's like I don't know. It's like some overbearing parent. It's like. I know you need to live your own life and you at own pace and you chase your own dreams, but I'm gonna be so alone without you. I'm gonna be sad all the time. It's saying like, you can do this, but know that you're gonna disappoint a lot of people, and a lot of people want you to stay. So we don't really manipulate you emotionally right now. No. We are not giving you any pressure and like consciousness about like other human beings, and we are not acting selfish at all. But hey, Shinji, if you want to leave. But we're gonna leave this place too because there is no one to protect us. No pressure at all, Shinji. That's all right, Shinji, right? He's a coward. Is he a coward? To me, he's not very much a coward. He's a free man that wants to choose his own destiny. And he doesn't know what to do, which is understandable. He's a fucking 14-year-old kid. And I don't know. If that's not like a allegory to maybe society in Japan, then I don't know. Maybe I'm reading the show wrong. Maybe I should just read it at the face value and be done with this. I don't know. He can, of course, stay here and become the hero of everybody, but he should do it on his own terms and not being forced into this. Which I think this episode shows that Shinji gonna willingly choose that, and there's gonna be probably consequences because of that. I don't think so this show will end in happiness and smiles and be gonna be like, yeah! No trauma at all, everything was good, everyone lives, and everyone is great. You now have great relationship with your father, and he finally said that he's proud of your son. The end. I don't know about that, Chief. Well, he could either leave and then be like, hey, the Tokyo was destroyed, haha, Rei is dead, and because without main character we can't wipe our asses. Outside of the intention of the show and how the lines should sound, that was very funny because it reminds me of a lot of stuff that I heard in my life. Well, there's no pressure, man, but if you won't do it, there's gonna be like bad stuff for us, nothing gonna happen for you, but we kinda not gonna like you, we kinda not give you pressure, but it's kinda pressure. You should do it. That was Neon Genesis Evangelion episode 4. After running away, or how that's called, the fucking Hedgehog Day or whatever bullshit, of course. Hedgehog's Dilemma, which I think I liked a little more than running away after rain, which is like Hedgehog's Dilemma sounds much better in terms of Neon Genesis Evangelion titles, I would say. So, okay, Mr. Neon Genesis Evangelion. Today, what do we have today? What we have today? We have a lot of about disappearance, about our purpose in life, about everything, etc. That was already talked during the episode. Okay, after this whole talk, you probably heard everything and it was pretty nice. This was during the episode, but I decided to put that at the end to have a longer discussion, I guess. So yeah, we have these two jabronis coming back and being like, we like you, Shinji, please don't leave. Which is really pretty neat. Pretty neat, how you would say that, pretty neat character development. Something that I didn't expect from them so fast. Maybe this one, maybe when he sits alone, like here. Like this was pretty powerful, fine scene. Gods in the hell, I don't know, heaven. Watch us. Oh, I don't know what is written here, but it's very like on the nose here, and we are. I really like these fucking shots. I really like these shots of like darkness surrounding Shinji and enveloping him and stuffing him and just like breaking him. And there's the light comes from Katsuragi herself, bringing the peace, but also a little truth, but also a lot of human emotions with her, which she later on reflects, which I really like, because I was thinking that she's gonna be like, no, I was right, but she doesn't. She reflects that, and she really likes Shinji, and she's like, he doesn't know how to express himself. I feel sorry for him. I need to go after him right now. So I don't know if they're gonna have love relationship like woman and man, or it's gonna be like older sister and older younger brother, or maybe mother figure to Shinji. It may be that. It may be all three. It may be sexually frustrated boy without love, not knowing really well how to have his emotions in the control. So he's kinda hitting on her when he also treats her as a mother figure. The trope. Not that he wants to fuck his man, not bullshit like this. But the trope of like, I don't know what my feelings are towards you. You are very like a little older, not that much older, but a little older, and you're much wiser in the sense that I really like to be around you, and you like my mentor type. But I also develop feelings for you, romantically and like sexually, and that's gonna be a problem, I guess, for us. At least for me, because maybe you're not gonna feel the same way about me. Yikes. But well, what do we have here? We have these two fuckers coming back, and he's like, punch me in the jaw. Even though he fucking kicked him and punched him like 3 times, two times. Not very fair. Shinji can really punch if he wants, huh? He can really like punch if he wants, but it's nice that Shinji is developing some human relationships outside of his job, and he develops more feelings and human relationships with Katsuragi, which for sure won't bite these characters in the ass, because having a friend in a main character in a show like this always is great. Is it? Is that his? Yes, that's his number. 13722 Shinji Ikari. So everything is connected still. Great. So he officially resigned, but of course they're gonna just reassure the fucking card again. I was thinking that he's gonna be more top secret agent, but everyone in town, I guess, knows him. I mean, at least his classmates know that he is the pilot of that, and there's no really big repercussion of that. I was thinking that's gonna be like, oh no, they know, we need to like clear their minds or whatever. But I guess not. The loneliness of Shinji and during the scene of these people making out is very like apparent. That's what I was saying during that episode. Very much interesting and very much sad or not. Something to say and to see for sure. The feel of this episode of Shinji being alone. He's like grayed out, and he's this looming big city all alone. No one talks to him during this fucking like, I don't know, 10 minutes. Yeah, like 10 minutes until he meets his friend Ida from, his classmate, maybe friend now. So it's very interesting, his pointed episode. But later on, at the end, I think he realizes that he has someone in his life. And I think it's gonna be Katsuragi. And I think she has someone else in her life right now too. Because she understands him a little bit more. But it's very nice that he meets someone who is not very conflicting and etc. But he's like, he meets this friend from class, and it's very like married gone. I will have confirmation, of course, of the age of Shinji, 14-year-old boy. Rei is also 14-year-old, I assume. And they are scanned in this machine. Rei Asami, age 14. It's also not shit that you ask for Rei, but Rei is very like emotionally distant, etc. Is Rei something that Shinji can become without anyone to have around? Maybe we can change Rei life also to be more open and beautiful, because it seems like Rei has also no like will. she's like doing anything, and she's very much silent. We don't really know much about her yet, so I'm very eager to know what she's gonna be. So yeah, that was the talk. I don't really have much to say during what I was saying during the episode and reactions. I think I would just be a broken clock repeating the same fucking thing. So that's it. I mean, it's our 27 minutes of discussion for this Evangelion, and you have at the end discussion that was a little rambling about the stuff, etc. during this episode. But I think I cut it out so you can watch it with me or not. I don't know. But let's see next time on Neo Genesis Evangelion what you can accomplish and what you can have. So I am very much thankful for you all coming and watching this episode with me. I hope you can check out the Patreon. You already have more episodes up ahead there, and you can check it out, everything. And yeah, support me in this endeavor of reactions and other creative content I make. And of course, that every money that you support me goes towards, I don't know, making this channel grow for sure in the terms of quality. Maybe better mic. I'm gonna afford better mic here. I'm gonna afford probably better camera, so your viewing experience of my ugly face is better. And probably gonna maybe into like audio devices, maybe better chair for me, whatever. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But better like stuff like that. Hope you all enjoy. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great life. And see you again next time in Neo Genesis Evangelion. Bye bye.